How do whisky experts get the most out of every single drop? This is how one of the world's most prestigious tasting panels approaches every dram. Add water. Don't add water, let it breathe. No, cover it up, drink it as it is. Add 4 drops from a pipette containing water sourced from a secret Isla spring. People will preach all sorts of things to you about how you should drink your whisky. And if I'm being honest, then you really shouldn't care about any of it as long as you're enjoying what's in your glass. But if you want to embrace all of the flavours a whisky has to offer, there is a specific process that professionals follow when they nose and taste. The first thing you need to understand is that it's not just about the taste. In fact, taste actually tells you the least about what's going on in the glass. That's why every single expert on our panel always starts by nosing their whisky neat. When you first nose, you want to make sure to be nice and gentle to try and prevent any of the harsh alcoholic vapours catching you off guard. Now this is where it gets interesting. There are actually 2 ways your nose picks up flavour. These are called the orthonasal and retronasal processes. That makes it sound a wee bit more complicated than it really is, but these are essential to every expert whisky drinker, so bear with me. Orthonasal is the simple act of using your nose alone to smell aromas, and that basically tells you if something smells good enough to want to eat or drink it. But the retronasal reaction is the fascinating part. This happens when you take a sip of whisky and the aromas reach your odour receptors by travelling through your mouth, up the back of your throat and into your nose. This then speaks to the brain and lets us know how tasty and rewarding something is. Now this is the key to tasting whisky like a pro. It's vital that you experience both of these processes to fully understand a whisky's flavour. This is why your next step is to sip the whisky neat, still without adding any water, and let the spirit's aroma drift up the back of your throat and into your nose. It's at this point that you might find coconut or vanilla notes, or that a dram doesn't smell very peated in the nose, but does when you taste it, and that's because of this retronasal process. This next step is probably quite controversial to some, but let me explain why it's arguably the most important part of the process. Once our tasting panel have nosed and tasted the whisky neat, they will always add water. I know it's basically considered something of a hate crime to add anything to your whisky, right? But this is actually one of the industry's biggest preconceptions. The truth is that adding a small drop of water here helps to diffuse those strong alcohol vapours and can completely transform the whisky in your glass, allowing it to open up and offer a completely different range of flavours and aromas.